Hello everyone, this is Fullmaster, and this is a continuation of my short series documenting all of the new content from patch 4.3 on the PTR. This is the new 5-man heroic, the Hour of Twilight, and I'll be giving you some comments here and there about the bosses and some of the trash during it. The first boss we have coming up here is called Curian, if I said that right. He looks just like one of the guys from Elemental Council in Bastion of Twilight. It's a pretty straightforward boss fight. He'll do some decent damage to the tank. He'll also cast some roots sometimes that you need to dispel. During the fight, there's adds, as you can see right there, that mass up around the outside and throw little snowballs that only deal very light damage. Thrall helps out and goes around and kills these little guys and keeps them under control for you because it can kind of get obnoxious running around and dodging all the time. The boss himself isn't really that interesting, doesn't do anything very special. At some point during the fight, he'll freeze Thrall in a tomb. You'll probably want to break him out so he can keep killing the little elementals, though if you're already just trucking the boss and he's going to die, it probably doesn't matter. When the boss reaches 30%, he goes into a Soften Rage, which is AoEing the raid rather heavily. It's pretty easy to heal through, but it also snares you by 50%, which makes dodging the snowballs a little bit more annoying. After that fight, you go on a nice long walk with Thrall while he's in Ghost Wolf form. And a few things to note about Thrall is during all of these encounters and trash, he heals himself. He'll basically never die as long as you're alive. Does Lava Burst, which deals about 50,000 damage and also drops a Fire Totem. You want to stand in its AoE as it increases your damage dealt and increases your max health. The trash in this area actually deals decent damage, and as you can see here, it's kind of raping our group. There's a buff on the priest you can spell steal or dispel that deals 10% of enemies' health to them in damage every 3 seconds in a 10-yard radius, so melee and the tanks will get raped. But just dispel it and you're good to go. Next up we have Asira Dawnslayer, which is a rogue-type boss. She'll jump down on this dragon here that's your friend coming to say hi and rape it. While she's in the air, you can definitely attack her, and all your damage will stay into the rest of the fight, so if you're ranged, go ahead and start destroying her. She'll come over, do some RP for a few seconds, and then the fight will start. There is an interesting mechanic to this fight, in that if you're a caster, she'll mark you, and as you can see here, when you cast a spell, she'll throw a dagger at you and silence you. Now, the way you avoid that is, the dagger she throws at you works off of line of sight through character models, kind of like, collision, as if it was in this game. All you need to do is basically line up behind Thrall or melee or the tank, ideally Thrall because, he can take as much damage as he wants, and just have the dagger hit them. That applies for healers, casters, DPS, and maybe even elemental shamans, I don't know. Another one of her abilities is Smoke Bomb, which works just like the regular rogue Smoke Bomb, but also deals damage while you're in it. The damage it deals is very small. You can probably just stand in it and heal through it if Thrall decides to drop a totem under it. When she gets low on HP, she'll do something called Blade Barrier, which means you just need to hit her for a certain amount to break it. It's extremely low, like 30k, just like the Bastion of Twilight trash. It's almost not even worth mentioning. After the fight's done, we get to see that Thrall can now res dragons. Pretty cool, pretty cool. He hops on, rides on over towards the temple, and we get some nice little mounts that fly over and say hi, we'll take you to. You know, you fly over, you get to look at stuff, and then you see that there's this giant gaping living hole in the ground too, right behind us. And you're like, oh wow, maybe we'll go in there and do some fun stuff. Nope, 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 we're going towards the temple. You'll talk to Thrall and start heading there with a few of your Earthen Ring friends, and periodically trash will spawn, also spawning a tentacle which kills one of your said Earthen Ring friends. Nothing really special, just kind of, again, a little bit of a time buyer for your cooldowns to come back up. When you're finally done with the trash, Archbishop Benedictus will come out and say hi, what's up, you know, the guy who has a staff named after him, or whatever. I don't really know why it's named what it is. But anyways, he reveals that he's, you know, a big jerk and wants to kill you and, you know, give him the Dragon Soul and whatnot, so we decide to fight him now. He actually has some abilities that can pretty easily wipe your group. As you can see here, he starts spawning 3 orbs, and in P1, Thrall kills 2 of them. But for P1 and P2, the best defense against wiping to those is to just spread out. If 2 hit the same area, you're definitely going to wipe, or at least have, you know, the people who get hit die. When he hits about 70% HP, he'll get really mad and be like, oh hey, look at my true form, and cause this giant wave behind him. Thrall will be like, hey, come get in my bubble. I'll protect you. And this bubble also makes you deal 100% extra damage, so you can burn him pretty hard during this time. After that, he'll transform. He'll still do all his abilities from P1, except that Thrall won't be helping with any of them. As you can also see here, there's a magic debuff that needs to get dispelled that deals damage to you and the people around you. That happens in P1 and P2. All the damage values for all the abilities stay the same, they just look different colors now. And like I said before, now there's 3 orbs. He also does the giant wave again in this phase, but it's not as big as before, and you can avoid it just by getting on the sides or wherever the open hole is, and you just kill him after that. Again, a very easy boss fight, but still pretty fun and interesting to look at least. That's it for this instance, and I will continue to document and show off what's happening on the PTR as it becomes available, so if you want to see more, please subscribe.